Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Here with me in the studio, I'd love to introduce my guests, Mr. Oduyemi Wealth. He's a current affairs analyst. We're very pleased to have you with us on the show today.
It's a pleasure being here. Good afternoon, and good afternoon.
You look really great.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Let's start from the top. Electricity distribution company Discos have announced an increase in the price of prepaid meters effective from November 5th. This follows an earlier price hike in August, further fueling concerns regarding affordability and accessibility. According to the announcements, the price of a single-phase meter has increased from about 117,000 naira to 149,800, reflecting an increase of 32,800 naira. The price of a three-phase meter has also risen from 206,345 naira to 236,500 naira, depending on the distribution company and meter vendor. Consumers have expressed frustration over the price hike, especially given the country's tough economic conditions. Alice Oga, a resident of Lugbe, shared her shock when the price of a single-phase meter she had budgeted for increased by 31,000 naira. Similarly, Edem Okon reported that the price of a three-phase meter had increased from 206,345 naira to 2,336,500 naira in just a month, criticizing the hike as unnecessary during a period of hardship. At Sonha Fosa, a resident of
subsidized, at least let it be available, because the absence of the prepaid meter allows fraud, and it's a routine wherein the player, that is the
you said the prepaid meters allows for fraud?
No, the absence of the prepaid meter allows for fraud, because the estimated billing system is clothed with fraud. Because there's no system to attain the consumer of customers. Because literally, based on the experiences we have on the personal ground or the general perception you have towards this electricity provider, is that if they were to go by what is made available to them compared to what the client or the consumer actually consume, you will probably notice that there is a shortfall.
I want to come in with this. Now, what we are used to in recent time has been national grid collapse, and that doesn't speak favorably, because, like you just said, we cannot estimate the bills for how the yardstick for judging an estimated bill. Do you think? Do you agree that this is going to be worse days ahead for people with estimated bill system?
Which, of course, I said earlier on, if you probably want to embrace the reality that is hidden in this news flash, is that tougher days ahead. However, even as it were, there in Abuja, I think ADCI or something. The point, enough of the nomenclature. The point is this. It is proven in other opinion that people literally are giving what they are not consuming. Now, if, like I said, in a hub you have those who are using prepaid meter and those who don't have, which of course are the ones placed on the estimated billing, you can see that the frequency or the number of those with the prepaid meter, oftentimes than not, is lesser than those who are unestimated. And then there is a drive or a campaign where certain customers just believe that they will be on a prepaid meter. Why? Because it affords them to be accountable, implying that there are certain usable they are used to, that the prepaid metering system will not allow for them. Some they are used to, but looking at it in the real sense, whether short-term or long-term benefit, you will see that it helps you to, manage what you use, and then, you avoid wastages. Because you can imagine that when you are going out in the morning, why should all the bulbs be on when nobody is using it?
But now, with the current prices and the increments in buying the prepaid meter system, how would these people, with the current state of the economy, be able to, afford the products?
For example, as I'm saying, that you probably will want to look at the positive. Because if you don't do it now, as I said, you are just postponing the evil days. Because the bill will keep on rising. Go and check an average consumer placed on estimated bill. They will always have arrears. And these arrears are running into millions. Well, who is going to pay? Currently, in my house, I've been managing a bill that is way about 400,000. So, but the moment I got the prepaid meter, we started reducing that bill. Either way, you are going to pay. Good enough, over time, we've been able to reduce the bill from 400,000 to a whooping 180-something thousand within a 1-year mark. So you can imagine. So during national grid collapse or no national grid collapse, as the case may be, I'm not charged once there is no light. But as an estimated customer, whether there is light, as a matter of fact, you pay for darkness. So you pay for light, and then you pay for not having light. And at the end of the day, it will be factored into your arrears.
Yeah.
So if you are going to use the 200,000 or the 140-something thousand to stop a system that is intentionally increasing your debt profile, I want to think that it's more logical to doing that than to leaving it and arguing it. While you are arguing it, the bill is rising.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they will tell you that your arrears is summing up to about 1-point-something million. For light, you never consume. But if by reason of it, because if you don't want to look at it logically, yes, is it fine? It's not fine. Is it correct? It's not correct. But if it is what is going to, the sacrifice we are going to put in now to stop that fraud of a system called estimated billing.
Yeah.
Because despite the fact that there are gazetted rules and submissions in the code of engaging or getting subscription that you should not pay for what you have not consumed. That's just for the papers. But literally in the field is another, different ball game. Stop that system that is increasing your debt profile.
Yeah.
Paying, do much as you can. Even if you want to borrow, I know it's not going to be easy,
yeah.
but go and get money, borrow, get the meter in that it will stop the operation of the estimated system of billing you, and you now going forward start paying for your arrears, start paying immediately for what you are using.
You know that initially when these prepaid meters came up, they were given for free. They were given for free.
There's no doubt about that.
Why do you think, the companies decided to change it to a paid system? Because most of these houses didn't just grow off the ground. Some houses have been in existence, and though that area did not receive the
you will most likely know that the moment the estimated billing stop, the choppings for some nefarious staff stops. Because those who are it's a network of fraud that you can sort out your way. Probably, where's your bill and all that? You don't have bill. What can we do? You can literally do that, and that money is not going to be in the coffers of the company.
It's not going to reflect on your account.
It means that some persons are benefiting corrupt system.
Yes.
So therefore, also grown such that every effort to clamp down on its operation will be resisted, whether directly or indirectly. So one way of doing that is to ensure that any scheme that will so make available the metric system that will stop the estimated system will be frustrated.
Yeah.
So it's just corruption fighting back. So that's just the reality. But the point is just that
here last week, and he said that where he lived, the estimated bill got so high, and there was no power, and they decided to take NEPA or PHED to court. Do you think that's a nicer approach for people to follow?
Yes, for those, the avoidance of doubt, for those who probably can go through that route, I have some friends who you know, ensure that they advocate for the fundamental, their rights, and then they took PhD to court, and while at that, the PhD was refrained from, you know, discontinuing service. These clients were serviced to ensuring that while the matter was still in court, they were serviced. But you can imagine that we and all that stuff. So because also in, you know, advocating or getting redress in a court of competent jurisdiction, you also probably making expenses and all that stuff. So for me, if you have the means and the wherewithal to so ventilate your displeasure by ensuring that you approach the court to help do a proper interpretation and advance your right, because it's your right that is inalienable in the Constitution. But by all means, you can do it. But to avoid all that, and probably, or you don't probably cut out for that, the immediate remedy, no, you know, feasible for some person, but immediate remedy, get the prepaid meter, stop the bill.
Yes. Once
the outage is effected, or once there is an outage, you are not paying any bill. That alone is a win for a approach the court.
Thank you so much for that view, Mr. Oduyemi. On to the next one. News of a Nigerian woman being denied a U.S. visa, that only 5 out of around 300 applicants received approvals, while many are turned down in under 30 seconds. The incident has struck a chord with Nigerians online, prompting calls for a refund or compensation policy for unsuccessful applications or applicants. Social media users shared similar stories of spending significant amounts on visa applications only to face rejection without any recourse. One user advocated for compensation, noting that applicants invest heavily in fees and preparation only to end up without refunds. Another user highlighted the high rejection rates and reiterated the need for a refund policy to alleviate the financial impact. Others criticized the visa application process as exploitative, particularly for applicants from developing regions. Adding to the conversation, Selvin recounted a personal experience at the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, where numerous applicants were quickly denied, leaving many visibly distraught. This incident has stirred a call among Nigerians for better financial protections and reforms in the visa application process to help manage the risk of rejection costs. This has been an interesting topic, Mr. Oduyemi, given that many Nigerians and the Japa trend has been on for a while. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, nations all over the world will go at any length to ensuring that the sovereignty of their nations and border is safeguarded, and also to also ensure that the evenly distribution of the commonwealth of that nation is guaranteed for its citizens. And now, when you begin to have a trend where there is a mass movement generated on account of the prosperity that is available in a particular location or a country, it's telling you that there is a crisis from the point where there is migration or the influx of people in a particular region to another particular region is telling you that one is distressed while one seems to have a safe haven, you know, a kind of a stability that will accommodate. However, terms and conditions apply. With regards to the rate of the turn down of processes required to getting a visa to some of these stable economic or stable countries, leave one but to query what our government is doing. You know, well, of course, in international charters, there are treaties and understanding MOU signed among countries as to, you know, bilateral trades and other foreign relations, as the case may be. However, it is not a stone cast, a coin cast on the stone, as the case may be, implying that there are preconditions, and then once the country is beginning to get what they bargain for, what they do is that they will now stifle channels by which people gain access to their space. And it's a ploy by some of these nations to tell you that our door is not entirely open to you.
So why then don't you refund?
Now, well, the refund aspect will come in when people harness their displeasure by ensuring that they hold their own government accountable, because it's a leakage. Considering the fact that I don't also want to think it's all about the money. Yes, the country where people are trying to get access to is making money through the visering system.
Lots of money.
So the point is that could it also be that the country where these people are moving away from have a kind of an understanding? Do you know? And the chunk of the percentage also go to the country who has also denying you. I'm so sure that initially, maybe that may not apparently be the intention. But then again, if your country is the one showing them the channel to get you ripped off, you most likely understand that they will probably not want to say anything about it. But you can actually condition them to be accountable. Because if your country, your home country, is not seeing it as a rip-off, then it's an unfortunate scenario. Because normally, in fact, some countries, once you at the airport, you grant you your visiting. Take it for a ride, because I wish people can blacklist some of this country and revolt. Then you will begin to see that their revenue generation through visa application will nosedive. And then people will now begin to place their concentration to some less fancy nations or country where, if not because of the unrest or the political quagmire or challenges we are having here, who wants to go to some of this country? You know, some countries, to even imagine that you're probably not heard of their name and they're on the planet. You also not want to rule out that anyway we tend to go
fraud online. Do you think the social media space has even done more harm than good in that regard?
Do you know, in some certain quarters, the word fraud is not our language, societal view or perception. For it to have actually find expression from the English language means that it is a general human deficiency.
I thought all words were given by by Adam.
So be that as it may, the literal point is that is what is not fair.
Of their children a priority, deeming it more important than traditional ceremonies like naming rituals. In a recent Instagram story, he stated, DNA test is more important than naming ceremony, addressing a topic that has stirred considerable debate across Nigeria. Clarity and accountability within families. The call has sparked conversations among Nigerians, many of whom remain divided on the necessity of DNA testing, community development, and improving public.
From the word go, the relationship was placed on deception. And once deception tends to thrive, or is now fast becoming the order of the day, somehow it will metamorphose into revealing the truth. Revealing the truth in that there will be some storylines or some aftermath event that is not adding up. And check out the instances of issues where the issue of paternity tests had to, come in place is because someone felt cheated along the line.
Oh, not all the time. There was this story of a man that had doting father, loving on his children, loving on his wife, and I think the child fell ill, and they had gone to the clinic, and I think there was something required for him to donate blood or to do one of those, and he wasn't a match with the child.
Okay.
And it turns out, I think they had about 3 or 4 children, I can't remember just now, but all the kids, save for one, weren't his, rather. So there was no trust issue. Probably he didn't even know that his wife was capable of such behavior.
So at the end of the day, if you look at that storyline, that's what I mentioned earlier, I stated earlier, that blood has a way of revealing itself. Whether the wife is accomplice or it was not, there was somebody that was deceiving someone. And that's why I say, once from the word go, deception is the foundation of the union.
Yeah.
It's just for a moment and just for a period. The fact that he was the one taking care of these children in the last, for the psychology, the future, and the betterment of the children, and for himself, for his sanity, he will not let that truth. He knew